Schoology.
Thank you very much, ladies and gents. Thank you very much for having me here. My name is Yulia and I'm a teacher at IH Moscow. Today I'm going to show you how you can diversify the way you assess your students and deliver your feedback with the help of an e-learning platform, Schoology. Before I show you a video with a quick overview, I'd like to go through a few technical terms which I hope will help you to make the most out of the video. So on this slide you can see 4 types of learning where technology could be used: hybrid learning, distant learning, flipped classroom, and blended learning. So let me invite you to take part in a poll and choose the type of learning that is described in each definition. So the first one is about the type of learning where students are exposed to materials first outside of class, and the class time is devoted only to problem solving and discussion. What do you think it might be? Let's have a look. What do you think? Yeah, you're absolutely right. That's flipped classroom. Let's have a look at the second one. A type of learning where yeah, a significant portion of the course takes place online. Most part of the course takes place online. What is that? Yeah. Well, not everything, but just a significant part. Yeah, that's actually hybrid learning. Yeah. All right, let's have a look at the third one. A type of learning where the online component is additional, plays the additional role to what happens in class. Yeah, absolutely. That's blended learning. And the last one, the type of learning that takes place fully online, that's of course, yes, distant learning. Okay, thank you very much. There are various e-learning platforms that can assist you with all these 4 types, like Edmodo, Moodle, and Schoology. Today I'm going to focus on blended learning with the help of Schoology, which I've chosen because it's free and because it has a very user-friendly interface which resembles Facebook, which is very familiar to most of the students. So before we start the video, let's now go over a few, pardon. Sorry about that. Looks like a part of it is missing. Well, I'll just have to talk you through it. So here I give you various types and purposes of feedback. Unfortunately, you can't see the middle part. So basically what I wanted to show you is that there can be different purposes for feedback. It can be, if it's summative feedback, you just want to give a grade, put a tag on the student's performance. And if it is formative, then you want to pinpoint the strengths and weaknesses and show the way towards the improvement. And I just wanted to say a few words about the feedback that could be delivered by the teacher or by other students, by the peers. And there are 2 more types. It could be objective feedback if there is only one correct answer, or subjective one if it calls for more personal judgment. But what you can see here is that whatever the type or the purpose is, it's always delivered with rubrics, which is a scoring tool that provides a detailed description of what constitutes acceptable or unacceptable feedback. So now let's have a brief overview how I use Schoology for all these types of feedback, and we will start with objective teacher-led summative feedback and move towards subjective peer-led formative feedback. Let's have a look.
If you want to make Schoology do all the grading for you, click on Add Materials and choose Add Test or Quiz. It will help you deliver objective feedback quickly without spending hours grading. This type is mostly suitable for assessing vocabulary items and grammar points, but could be used for skills as well. Within one test, you can create numerous questions in such formats as true-false, multiple choice ordering, fill in the blank, or matching. When you click on Setting, you can choose whether you want the test to be available to students immediately or at a later point. You can also limit the amount of time and attempts they spend on it, and you can decide whether you want your students to see the correct answers at the end. In these TV programs and movies tests, the first two questions test students' vocabulary and are created in the matching format. The third question, however, tests reading scanning skill. It asks the students to access Wikipedia articles and look for specific information there, which they then have to type in these blanks. The last and the fourth question tests listening for G skill by asking students to match the soundtracks in the left column to the trailers in the right column. When you want to give your students feedback and guidance on their writing and speaking, objective summative feedback might not be enough. You can create a speaking assignment and deliver personalized formative feedback by clicking on Add Materials, Add Assignment. Here, I ask my students to follow BBC recipe link, browse BBC recipes, choose one they like the most, and go to Vocaroo to record their message to me, telling me about their favorite one. I give them rubrics which they can consult before embarking on the task, and which will hopefully guide them towards the performance I'm looking for. When they are done, they submit the record through the Dropbox, where I can access their files at a later point, listen to them, and leave my formative feedback delineating strong and weak areas and asking for a resubmission. This type of teacher-student interaction is more personal, but it still leaves student dependence on the teacher. In my class, I try to let my students become in charge of their progress by nudging them towards self and peer feedback. This could be done through Add Materials discussion format. Here, my students and I look at the task in class, jointly in collaboration construct the rubrics, and then I ask them to go home and firstly leave their comments on the task, and secondly take a pencil and pen and write down their comments on the classmates' performance in accordance with the rubrics we had developed before. When they come to the next class, I ask them to deliver feedback to each other.
All right. yeah, so we have our slides back. And now that you have watched the video, could you please type here what's different about feedback with Schoology? How is it different from more traditional ways of delivering feedback? Could you please type your answers? Right, Anya. So it gives space for peer feedback. Right. Uh-huh. Yeah, definitely it's interactive. Yeah. Okay, so let's have a look. So you pretty much answered it. It can showcase students' achievements. They can compare subsequent submissions to the previous ones. It's easy for the teacher to monitor because all of the files are arranged in one place. And of course, it builds student autonomy. Thank you very much for working with me. I'd be very happy if I could receive your emails at this email address. And I'm handing over to Anya. Let's enjoy her talk together. Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you very much, Julia. It's excellent, really interesting stuff there with schoology. It's the